today, what's on my Apple Watch, how I actually use my Apple Watch, and my favorite apps that I use on a day-to-day basis. Good morning, New York. Oh man, it's the very first one is the alarm and sleep focus mode. So when I wake up in the morning, I have an alarm set. Today was for 8 a.m. because I gotta go draw some blood at this doctor's office. It just vibrates on my wrist. There's no loud noises. And if I need an extra alarm, I'll set my Google Home as like a backup alarm. Sometimes I can't sleep through the wrist vibrations. And I use sleep focus to track my sleep and see how did I sleep last night.
You don't need an alarm, but have your bedtime and your wake time. So that way it does track your sleep and your sleep stages. If you do fall asleep outside of those bounds, it will give you this blurred line. So just keep that in mind. And it's all about having sleep consistency. So are you sleeping enough? And are you awake? And sleep time is pretty similar. That's the most important thing. Forget about this stuff. Rise is another app that I've been using. I'll usually check this on my phone, but if I want to see the data on my watch, I can pull it up here and just see my sleep debt over the last 14 days. This is valuable to make sure that, hey, am I getting enough sleep over the last 14 days? So it's kind of like this long-term trend variable. There are some other features to it, but I really only just like the sleep debt value.
The next two favorite apps are Calendar and then Maps. I like to put everything I'm doing that day into my calendar.
Today, clearly I only have one, but usually I like to have multiple things in there so I know what I need to do at what time.
As well as the address. And then on the watch, I can go ahead and tap location and it'll open up Apple Maps and then get me walking, transits, whatever I need to get to that place.
Google Maps I don't use. It's just not very valuable and helpful. I like to have visual directions, so Apple Maps is the way to go for me.
Now, the one thing I never understood is people who don't use their calendars. If you want to hang out with me, meet an appointment. Here we are. All right, this is the most advanced doctor's office ever, but they don't integrate with Apple Watch. They kind of do, actually, Apple Health. This is the futuristic office. All right, blood test done. I love when they give you a little hydration water to go home with.
And then I also like to use my chart because my doctor used to use this and I can have my medical data here. But obviously, once again, you got to set up on your phone. Medications, I have asthma, but I don't take my medication as consistently as I should. But this is available to track your medication, blood oxygen. I'll check this from time to time, but I don't really need it. I like to see my resting heart rate. Fun fact, if you want to get a faster reading, just place your finger on the touch dial. It gets an instant electricity circuit through your heart, and this will update every second instead of every couple seconds. EKG, I almost never do this unless it's for a video, but can be helpful for some people. Dexcom, I know they're releasing a CGM that's going to be able to sync your glucose values directly to the watch and not need your iPhone as an intermediary. Super excited for that. I'm not a diabetic, but I think it'll be really interesting once we can get our hands on that.
How's it going? Can I get a cold brew, please? All black.
If you know I love Apple Pay, I like to pay with everything with Apple Pay. I can't wait until our ID gets on here. I do have like vaccination, Chipotle, gym cards. Like I've got all these things on here, rewards. I love Apple Pay. I hope every single business integrates with it because it's so fast, so simple, and so amazing.
One thing to know is caffeine is a drug, right? But this is my favorite app to track my caffeine intake on my watch. So searching cold brew coffee. This is a medium size, so we're gonna add 150 milligrams of caffeine. And then I can see kind of metabolism-wise how much caffeine is gonna be in my system until bedtime. I have mine set to 500, but the FDA regulation says 400 milligrams should be your maximum. It's my average, my daily caffeine limit. 2 watch faces, this is one of them, and this is the second one. Like I be seeing people drinking Celsius at like 6 p.m. Yo, that has 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's like 2.5 coffees. I think people need to be more aware how much caffeine they're putting in their system.
Now that I'm at home, one of my favorite apps here is the Home app. And sometimes I like to use Intercom to mess with my roommates. All right, everybody, it's time to wake up. Let's get going, baby. But here I can go ahead and turn the lights on and off. And then here I have these special colored lights. If I want to change the color, I can tap red for nighttime, sunlight, white. I also have smart blinds. I can go ahead and tap close the blinds. So we have all this. We even have a smart camera. See, this is a live camera. And then we even have the home pods as well as some other motion sensors like a temperature, humidity. So I like having just, environmental data about our apartment because it's nice to have. And that's how I use the Home app. And then when I arrive home, sometimes I like to also control our Apple TV. So I can go ahead and press play. And now we've got the Apple TV and the 2 home pods, and I can actually go ahead and press this button here to turn the TV on. Boom, so now it's on, and the only app I ever use is YouTube. So we're gonna tap it, it opens it up, bam, and now I can see all the videos I wanna watch, and we're gonna pick my favorite creator here.
If, for instance, you're somebody...
There he is, our Lord and Savior. And if I wanna change the volume, what I would need to do is actually go to Now Playing. That's another built-in app. I can see here and I can change the volume of the HomePod. If I really wanted to, I could watch YouTube here. I was thinking about how can I stream Huberman Lab podcast from YouTube on my watch while I'm running. And yes, I could do it this way, but this doesn't log in with my YouTube app. It doesn't sync, and I want the syncing of how much I've watched to be matching the YouTube app. So YouTube, build a podcast / Apple Watch app for me, please. Or let me listen to long form podcasts on the YouTube Music app. This is like the demise of most Apple Watch apps. You have to do something on your phone just to get started with using it. So this is the main reason I try to only use native apps on the Apple Watch. Wake up, it's noon, bro! Did you charge your Apple Watch?
No!
Oh my!
I headed to the gym to talk about the fitness and music tracking features and apps that I like to use on my Apple Watch. So as much as I'm an Apple fanboy, I use Spotify. So Spotify is my go-to Apple Watch app. And I used to not install the Spotify app, but because the volume control's a little buggy, but recently I've just been using it. I like being able to heart the songs on there and be able to pick the playlist and everything. And now that you can stream via cellular on the Spotify Apple Watch app, it's really nice. If I don't have my phone nearby, I can just control and play Spotify on my watch.
Audible. I have this downloaded and I have a whole bunch of books downloaded, but to be honest, I haven't used Audible in a long time. I need to listen to books more.
All right, here at the gym, and I'm using Future Fit right now. This requires your phone to be nearby and a personal trainer subscription, but it uploads all of my workouts onto the Apple Watch and it syncs with the phone. It's a little buggy sometimes, but for the most part, it works pretty well. So this is one of my favorite Apple Watch apps. My favorite thing is it shows the reps I need to, it has a countdown timer for everything, and I can even change the weight and adjust as I'm going through the workout so that my trainer knows exactly how I did the workout.
Runkeeper is another one that they activated so it works with the action button now, and you can create really complex screens and have special workouts and all that. But for me, I like having the built-in workout app. There's just more integrations and more features. It's faster. So like for example, outdoor run, we have race routes here. I can race myself. I don't use that one, but I do use the custom workouts a lot. So here I have a work set, a recovery, and then inside the work set, I have it notify me when I'm within pace or outside the pace. Super easy to get that started and set up. Once you have it once, and I do this every week, it's easy to just hit start, and it just kind of keeps me in check with the minimal amount of thought possible. I just show up to the track detection turns on, and says, do you want to use the track detection? Press OK, and then I start the workout and we're off to the races. So that simplicity and the ease of effort, and then it just only displays what I need on the watch and not too much. I prefer that over this Run Outdoors app, but this is also available if you really need that data. All right, let's talk about recovery. So there are quite a few apps on the Apple Watch that can turn it into kind of like a Whoop strap. So Chipr is one. All these apps take quite a bit of time to load. Almost most Apple Watches do. Training Today, this one's kind of loaded already, which is nice. The Aura Ring app, just to be able to view that stuff. It requires you to wear a ring. Athlytic, I haven't been paying for this one, so I'm locked out of things. But the information's there. It's helpful. I honestly don't use it. I tried all these apps for a little bit of time, and I don't need it. Go off how you feel. And if this app helps you kind of learn how you feel, then that can be valuable. But for the most part, not necessary.
So this is the exact reason I like using the weather app on my Apple Watch.
Here in New York, the weather's constantly changing. So just having the temperature, air quality, UV index, know if the UV index is high, wearing a hat or sunscreen.
It's good to have the weather app on my Apple Watch so I can get notified if it's gonna rain, and then I can see how long it's gonna rain for in the next hour. I'm anti-umbrella, and I will wear a raincoat if I need to. But honestly, I'm wearing my regular clothes. I'm gonna get a little soaked. Luckily, I can walk home.
And now you might be asking, Shervin, but what's your favorite Apple Watch home screen? Let me show you.
This is my favorite. It's simple, it's basic. I get my activity rings, which I like. The time with seconds, which is really important to me. I have the weather here. Seems to be shorts weather today. And then I have the calendar events, so I can see all my calendar events right here. So then here I have the camera button. So if I'm at the gym and I want to film myself and see what's on my actual watch, I'll open this up. As you can see, I'm using my phone to record this video. So now we have a inception mode. But this is just helpful because I can even zoom in, I think. Yep. And I can start, stop, and I can take photos using this part of the watch. So that's super helpful. So I don't have to start recording, put the phone down. But that's literally all it is. I don't want too much information. I've tried this one. It's just, yeah, it's cool. I love turning it red, but I never use it. There's just too much information, and there's no glanceability. I use this sometimes, but rarely ever. And then if I'm out at a bar, I'll turn this watch face on, and that just allows me to see the noise levels. So how much am I being exposed to really loud noise levels? So this one I'll use from time to time, but very rarely. This I like to be able to quickly access my HiCoffee app. But for the most part, I would say 95% of the time, my watch is on this basic, simple, easy to reference watch face. So I could have, in theory, a focus mode where when I go to sleep, the watch face changes. When I wake up in the morning for no coffee, no phone, or when I'm working out, driving, working, or do not disturb, the watch face will automatically switch to this could be my work watch face, this could be my sleep watch face, and this could be my workout watch face. I haven't set it up because I always get new phones and then it's just super buggy, but that is an amazing feature to use. And my favorite things to do on the Apple Watch is turn off all notifications. I turn off notifications indicator because I don't want a dot blurring at me. I go ahead and turn off notifications for as many apps as possible. So if I do have notifications, notifications up here, I just swipe to the left and I tap the triple dots and say turn off notifications because I don't want them. This device is supposed to track my fitness, my health, and provide me easy access to get things done. I don't want it to interrupt me. This is not a device to interrupt me unless it's for calendar events where I need to get buzzed and say, hey, you got to do something. So for that, I'll usually set timers. I love the timer app, probably one of my favorite apps. If I know I have a meeting coming up, I'll be like, oh, okay, we got a meeting in 18 minutes. Like, let's set a timer for 17 minutes because I tend to get stuck in like a flow state sometimes, and having that timer go off can be really valuable. Voice memos is cool to capture quick recordings and sync it to iCloud, but I honestly prefer just press record, and this will actually transcribe what I'm talking about into written text. So then if I want to view that later on, I can. What I would love is a way to tap, record something, and it saves to Apple Notes. If there was an Apple Notes app on the Apple Watch, that'd be game changer. That is hands down my favorite feature on the Apple Watch. It's built in. Flashlight, this is cool and useful. You know, it's there and it's available. It just takes a little bit longer to start, and then you can turn it off. I wish you could use the action button, do like a double click, and then get the flashlight. That'd be really neat. Calculator, if I need it in a pinch, but I typically like to use my phone just because it's easier to use. And then mail, if you really want to check your mail, you could. I just try to leave my mail only for my laptop. I don't need to be checking that stuff because I tend to just look at it and then not do anything, and then just becomes this thing in the back of my mind. Same thing with messages. I got a new number because it's a separate number, separate phone, separate line. So this has been an experiment where I'm only using iMessage on my laptop or iPad, kind of trying to survive without my iPhone. And so far, I'm loving it. Find Friends, Find My, like these apps are cool in that I can see this information, but at the same time, look how long it takes to load. And then I have to tap on the person, and then to actually see their location takes some time. So it's just that much faster to use my iPhone. Even these little milliseconds of extra time, my mind is like, oh, impatient. I need it fast. Even the weather app can take some time to load sometimes, but because I just like to check the weather and it's not too slow, I'll use it on here. Let me know what other apps you love in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, go watch my I Traveled with my Apple Watch series. I really put it to the test in the outside world.